Good morning, everyone. I'm Tripta Singh. I'm Senior Research Associate with Intac, and it's been 7 to 8 years I'm working with Intangible Cultural Heritage Division of Intac. And while working with Intac, I've been involved in several projects where I was doing cultural mapping and research and documentation projects on the intangible cultural heritage. Today, I'm going to give you a short presentation on the documentation methodologies of intangible cultural heritage. So I'll start. I hope you will like this presentation, and this presentation is practically based on my field work experiences, that how you will document intangible cultural heritage on field. So I'll start. Why documentation is important? All the developing countries in the world are very rich in their cultural intangible cultural heritage, such as expressions, rituals, folk traditions, and traditional craft skills that helps to identify the particular community. Therefore, it is important to safeguard and documenting to make accessible such intangible cultural heritage for present and future generation. So the very important thing in documentation of intangible cultural heritage is there are several phases how you can document. So I'll start with the documentation phases, which comprises of conceptualization and research. This conceptualization and research includes the research and groundwork, which we do with primary and secondary research. So primary research includes preliminary visit to the site, field to collect data retrieved from primary research, and through such primary research we try and collect the components of the place, so that the further research, secondary research, can be conducted. Secondary research includes library, archival consultation, discussion and reading of textual available material and information on the research topic. Now the second part is preparation of concept note and research proposal. For any project, research project, the first and foremost important thing is your research proposal. So while writing your concept note, it's very important that you can talk about your goals. What is your overall aim? What do you want to achieve through your project? What you will get after doing your research? So your concept note should contain your goal, then objectives. What are your short-term goals? What are your short-term aim that you want to achieve? So objectives, the first come concept note, goals, secondly come objectives, and the work plan. Work plan gives you clear idea that in which phase what you want to document. So like you can divide your work according to your work plan. Now the time frame is very important, that you know how much time you can give in your primary and secondary research, how much time you will give in the field, and how you will process that information which you have collected from different places, from different sources. So time frame is very important, so that you can do your work timely. Then budget. Without budget you cannot think of doing any project. So this helps you in deciding how much you need money for your primary research, secondary research, on-site field surveys, and the post-production and the post inventory and the report writing part. Now the research team is very important when you are documenting intangible cultural heritage. You need several people to conduct cultural mapping and research and documentation projects. Like you need researchers, you need resource persons from the communities where you are going, from the location where you are planning to document, and the subject experts, so that you can have a good team, and then they can help you with different aspects of the projects. So this is very important to have these goals, objectives, work plan, time frame, budget, and research team in your concept note. Now the documentation step. When we go to site, how we document? We usually take questionnaires with us, and with INTAC ICS division we have several templates for different variety of intangible elements. Like we have a separate template for fairs and festivals, we have separate template for crafts and traditional craft skills. Then we have separate template for food, we have separate template for rituals, customs, and performing traditions. So like we are using the template for such documentation, which helps you, immediately it helps you how you will document, what questions you need to ask on each thing. So when you are going to the sacred place, maybe you are going to some temple, so you can document the festival there, and you want to you need you need some ideas, you need some questions. So these templates help us with variety of questions, so that we can ask to the interviewee. So in festival template we have several questions like name of the festival, exact location where this festival is happening, geographical location, context of the performance, what is the context behind that particular fair and festival, time period, how long this festival will going to happen, related history, is there any history associated with that particular festival, and the lore, any legend, any mythological story associated with that particular festival, name of the practicing community, if there is any particular community which is doing that tradition and that festival, then the documentation of that community is also important, and the present economic and social status of that community, that what is the status of community, how they are involved in that particular fair and festival ritual, and the any historical reference of that particular fair, short description of the festival, current social importance of the festival. So this is one of the example of the template which we usually use. And now the second thing is planning the interview. What and where to interview, this is very important, that how you can plan your interview. You are going to the site, how you will conduct your conduct your interviews. So you need to have a list of contact people where you can go and document them. So what you can document and where to interview, this is very important. Location is very important, that where you will plan your interviews. Now the identification of the resource persons like knowledge holders and local community for field surveys and interviews. So it's very important that we should have a list of resource people, knowledge holders, and the people from the communities, so that when we are going to the field surveys, we can have a list of people and we can directly approach to them and then get information from them. Then the engagement of community resource person in field work to establish and maintain rapport with locals. When we go for the documentation, it's very important that we can have a good rapport with the community people, and then so that they can help us with the documentation process. So it's you can go there. I have few pictures where there are Mithila women's, those who are sitting here, and this is from the one of the project documentation of Gaya Pitra Paksh. So these are the Maithili women's in the above right side, and so like we documented them. And in the second picture, they are the women from Garmukteshwar. They are here for the Kuan Pujan. Now the second is development of trail on the map for covering various places for documentation. We usually use a map to mark the location where we have already documented, which helps you that this much area has been covered. So trail is very important, and this help you in your inventory preparation and the report writing. The use of cultural calendar for identifying different ICH related events and activities. Calendar is very important. When you go to site, you can have all the tithis and the dates and the list of fair, festivals and other occasions as per the calendar. So usage of calendar, cultural calendar is very important, so that you can mark each activity, and then accordingly you can plan your documentation. Now the implementation, how you can implement. So this is like in the initial part I discussed that how we can approach to the community and how we can go for the documentation. Now the actual implementation, how we can implement. So the on-site photography, how what are the ways to document intangible cultural heritage, right? It's not building, it's not any tangible element, it's intangible, fair, festival, cultural rituals. So photography is one of the medium you can document intangible cultural heritage. So on-site photography of the interview and the subject matter. When you go to the for the documentation, you can try and click the photograph of the subject, whether they are doing some kind of traditional crafts. You can take the photograph of the subject, so that you can use that photograph for the in the report writing, and the photograph of the interview, and always tell them that you are going to take their photograph, so that they can feel comfortable. Audio video recording, we have AV cameras, and we usually document any ritual practices, traditional craftsmanship, performances. So this is how you have to document by the help of AV record. Then we use GPS coordinates, how you can map that information on the map. So GPS coordinates are very important. You can click photograph, you can mark GPS coordinates, so that later when you want to do archival work, you can put GPS coordinate in your pictures. That helps you, in second time you want to go there, you will get the correct location, you will get the right information. So GPS location, we take coordinates of the latitude and longitude, and then we put that on the maps. Now the data analysis. Once we'll complete with the implementation thing, data analysis and report preparation is we do. So the first and foremost thing, while we have documented all the intangible elements on site which we had decided, then listing an inventory of those elements are very important. So for that we have sample of inventories. We have created templates for that also. Here I have an example of Samaj Gayan, which is a very important ritual in Braj region of Uttar Pradesh, and it happens during the Holi Utsav. So this is one example where we have documented in a way that name of the ritual Samaj Gayan, date and year of the recording, in which date and which year we have documented this particular ritual, and the name of the recording place, which place we have documented this. So this is Rangili Gari in Barsana, Uttar Pradesh. Name of the recording state, name of the community, like which community is involved in this Samaj Gayan. So this is Goswami community, priest community of Uttar Pradesh of Barsana. Background of the ritual, that what is the background. So these are the informations which are very important and which helps you in writing your report. So this particular performance, Samaj Gayan, is performance of singing. Samaj Gayan is very old and has relevance and significance among Brajvasis. Name of the recorder of scholar who documented them. Team information is very important, and the medium, how we documented, video camera, equipment, DSLR, um, who's the cameraman, who is the assistant, and the information, where this photograph was taken, what has been recorded. So this is one of the template. This is how we do the inventory of the various intangible cultural heritage elements. Now, transcription of the field voice and oral traditions recording. So when we document on site various, we conduct various interviews, we get a lot more information from the field, and transcription is required to extract the relevant information, and that relevant information goes in the report. So this is very important to have the transcription of all the videos which has been taken during the interview. Now, the analysis of all the questionnaires, surveys, and field notes. So this is very important after transcription, that you can also do analysis of all the questionnaires. I told you that we use templates, various templates. So their information, we also collect that information. We also make some notes during the documentation process. So their analysis is very important, that what information is required, what information is important, contact persons, do we need to contact them again, is there any problem in the understanding of the content which we had documented. So these analysis helps us in extracting the relevant information. Follow-up research on the based on the findings from the field. Follow-up information is research is very important, as this helps us, that somebody has told in one project, in documentation project, somebody has told that this is taken from this period, this is the historical background. So we just can't write that information directly. We need to justify that information so that we can give the relevant data and the right and correct information to the people. And the compilation and preparation of metadata of various collected elements like performing arts, oral tradition, indigenous knowledge, craftsmanship, rituals, festivals, and customs. We create metadata sheets for each thing which we document on site. That metadata sheet help us in retrieving our data in future, and also help us in writing the report. Now, the last and very important is final compiled reports with audiovisual aid. So whatever we have documented, whatever information collected, compiled so far, transcribed, analysis of data and all. So we prepare the final edited written report with photographs. We put photographs to justify our writing stuff. Then the CDs and VCDs of final audio video documentation. Whatever we have documented on site, we create CDs and VCDs of that, so that we can retrieve data for future posterity, and we can create archival records for future generation. Then the dissemination plan for the studied research and final report to the state and other authorities for taking further action which would help communities to preserve their rich cultural tradition. This point is very important, is like whatever we had documented, whatever we have collected, what we can do, why we are doing this. We are just documenting what we will do in future. So like after preparation of report, after doing some kind of audiovisual documentary or anything, we go back to the community, we give them that report, we give them that AV data, and we tell them to that this is your documentation, this is your inputs, and this is your heritage. You have to take initiative, you have to take part and preserve it. And then awareness program is very important in safeguarding intangible cultural heritage. So we make directory of all the resources, NGOs, and all the artists and craftsmen's list, so that we can try and help them in reviving their traditional crafts reviving their performing traditions, reviving their intangible heritage, because we as a third party cannot safeguard intangible cultural heritage. So we always go back to the communities and give them the data so that they can they can feel proud of their intangible heritage. They feel that they belong to them. They are the custodians of intangible cultural heritage, and they take initiative and do awareness programs. Then the recommendation for revitalization plan based on the findings in the consultation with the community involved. Then their involvement is very important. So like when we create or make any documentary, we always go back to the community. We do screenings and then show them that this is what we had done during the documentation process, and then this is your heritage, this is your virasat, you should save it. And I mean, without you we cannot save intangible cultural heritage. We are the researchers, we are the people, those who understand the value of intangible heritage, but you are the custodians, you are the main safeguarders and main people who can save your own rich cultural heritage value. So by this thing I would like to end my presentation. I hope I was clear, and the presentation was based on my findings and my practical experiences during various projects in Gaya, in Varanasi, in Mirzapur, and I mean, I hope the presentation was fruitful and useful for everyone. Thank you so much.